Welcome into the Fanspeak Network, the Lineup Legends show. This week, once again, bringing in the legend himself, Steve Shoup. Steve, how we doing, buddy?
Doing good, doing good. Just watched a very, very fun game of Best Ball Jeopardy. Um, there's some challengers out there, that's for sure. So
The if you guys haven't been tuning into the Best Ball Jeopardy, make sure you go rewatch or watch tonight's episode between Fantasy Dog Pound and Bindles. Was a good one. As you know, a lot of these contests have been really good between the two battle royale contestants. It's fun. It's a good time. It's something different. So if you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you go do so. Rewatch all of round one thus far. We still have two matchups to go, right?
three matchups, but
Three.
two set. It's going to be me and Justin Herzig next week, and then after that, it's going to be Pete Overzet versus Neil Warfield. So that's going to be a good one. And then the final round one matchup will be the two highest second place
Right.
finishers will face off for a chance to get back in.
Yeah, it's funny. You versus Herzig is like the minds versus the minds, and then we're gonna have the streamer one,
Yeah.
the king of streaming, Overzet, and then Neil Orfield, who is the legend for streaming all 150 BBMs as the oldest man to do so. So pretty cool, pretty fun thing that we have going on over here at the Fanspeak Network. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed, hit the notification bell, like all the videos for us. We greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. Steve, tonight we will be trying to take down the Schnauzer 2. The Schnauzers, ballers on a budget, beware. This is where you can go ahead and max for $60. Pretty cool. The advance rate isn't the greatest in the Schnauzers, but for $60, right? I mean, that's seems like a worthwhile contest to enter. And they've already filled the Schnauzer 1. We're on to the Schnauzer 2 already. I assume they're probably going to pull out another Schnauzer or something else after this. What is your prediction for the next round of contests that they release?
Yeah, so first, the interesting thing about the Schnauzer, like you said, this is one of the tournaments where they did change it up a little bit this year. Last year, I think they did 8 or 9, and they actually used the Schnauzer almost as like a testing ground when they tried the 15-second clock, the 20-second, the 25-second clock, or 10-second, whatever it was. They were using it in the Schnauzers. Um, but those, like the current one, was 20 max, but they're much smaller, and they did have better advance rates last year. So the advance rate is on par with the puppy, so better than BBM, but not as good as some of the other things. But at the end of the day, what they did is they made this just a big, massive field tournament. Top prize 100K, $3 for one, $60 to max for 100K. Not too bad when you compare it to the puppy. And granted, you have 150 shots at it, but if you were to max the puppy, that's 750. So if you're maxing, let's say they do 5 Schnauzers, that's going to be well less than one puppy maxing. And
Yeah.
sure, a little fewer entries, but a lot of shots on goal. And as for what I think that's coming down the pipeline, look, we've already seen a lot of contests filled quickly. Pug, Hound Dog, German Shepherd. They could bring back a second version of any of those, similar to what they did with Schnauzer. I don't think they'll bring back another golden or another single entry until the Greyhound's finished or almost finished. But I wouldn't also be surprised something like the Chihuahua, which was $4, the Poodle, $7 last year. Again, they could change their price points on some of these things. They're doing the Schnauzer, but maybe they do a Pomeranian $3 when the Schnauzer is almost filled to kind of mix it up. So I could do different things.
I am hoping that we get a Badge Bros Brawl. I mean, I've been asking on Twitter for it. I mean, I know they've seen it. Shout out Nez and Rotor Run over on the Badge Bros Brawls. Again, if you haven't checked them out on stream, go do so. They are highly intelligent and full of information, but that's just such an electric contest. So I'm really hoping that that's probably one of the next ones that they drop, because last year they dropped it and it filled extremely quick.
Yeah.
They're, I think, missing an opportunity if they don't think that they can fill, 2 or 3 of those at least before the season. So I'm hoping that they bring that out, because that will be a fun contest to go into. Let's check in with the chat here real quick. Fantasy Football Espanol says, people laughed when I said skip Harvey and wait for Pacheco. That was in May. Do you think Pacheco will pass Harvey in ADP before August? I mean, potentially. They'll probably be closer than they are now, I would assume.
Yeah. I actually answered this in chat right before the show started, and I think they'll get closer. But while Dobbins is a number two back, and I didn't even mention this in the comment, I mean he's never been fully healthy in a single year, and they did spend second round draft capital on R.J. Harvey, and I think Harvey is for that Kamara role. I think Dobbins is for what they've used as like a more of a hammer role, whether it's Mark Ingram or somebody else. Um, so I think both can be fine. I do think Harvey should drop a little in ADP, but I don't think it should be a massive drop.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do think they will get closer. Shout out our chat lord, Mike Raub says, Steve, 2 buttons undone for the lady. Shoup is going to bring it tonight. His juices are pumping from something he watched earlier. Speaking of something you watched earlier, Bindle's in the chat. GM says his heart is still pounding. Obviously, we're not going to let the cat out of the bag as to who won if you haven't already seen it, but go over and
I will
that.
say this was the highest scoring game by far. And I mean, they might have combined to miss 2 questions where neither one of them got it. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, they are 2 highly intelligent individuals when it comes to best ball. So that was a great watch. Obviously, Tim D in the chat says, I got to start getting some Debo, buy low opportunity. Mike Ross says, Andrew, if you were a company man, you would ask for it to be named Fanspeak Brawl. Shame. Hey, one day we'll have something in there. The Fanspeak Fanatic contest.
There you go.
And Steven WC23, legend himself in the chat. Appreciate you guys. All right, Steve. Let's head over to Underdog and get our Schnauzer on. Again, if you guys aren't familiar, Schnauzer right here, Schnauzer 2, $3 entry. So for you ballers on a budget who don't want to join Bruni and I on the $25 BBM journey, this is your time. This is your time to get in, draft with us. $3, Schnauzer 2. Steve, we are drafting together again.
Yeah.
See, this is what's nice about having you on, Steve. I'm getting plus EV on all these drafts because I'm drafting with you. So I sure as hell don't mind. Meg checking in just says at Bindles at Best Ball Jeopardy legend. Yes, again, we won't give it away. Yeah,
they're both legends.
Maybe.
I mean, they are.
Yeah.
It was one of. I mean, you were there when I did Jeopardy last year against Spread. This was on par with that, I'd say.
It was fun. It was fun. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna get into the Schnauzer 2, 20 seconds per, which again is the defaulted auto for you guys. So if you guys are ready, I will count it down here for everybody. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and away we go. I'm gonna pull it up here. Looks like we got 9 more to start, chat. So head in now while you can. 9 more to go. 8 more to go.
And if we get a second, or what is it, 25 likes, we'll rip a second one.
Is that what it is? 25?
I think it would. That's what it said.
Okay. For some reason, I cannot hit our banners. Oh, there we go. Banner now coming up for me. Again, if you guys haven't already, go over to underdogfantasy.com, sign up using our code FANSPEAK to claim your deposit bonus. I believe it's still up to 250, or it might have moved back down to 100. I think it's still 250 though. So if you guys haven't already, go over to Underdog Fantasy, sign up, join us. I was out in the wild the other day talking to somebody about fantasy football, and I asked them, like, would you just want to do drafts? That's the best part, and then forget it. And they're like, yeah, that would be cool. I never heard of Underdog. So, I'm out there in the wild doing the Lord's work, talking about Underdog. You should be as well if you haven't already. Again, feel free to use our code FANSPEAK. Let us know if you use our code. If you tell somebody and they use our code, I will make sure to personally send you something. Got big into the NFL card game, so I can definitely see what your personal collection looks like and help you out there. So again, use our code FANSPEAK. We appreciate every single one of you guys. And before the draft starts, if you haven't already, you should be signing up for Fanspeak Best Ball subscription. It is live at $34.99 for the entire year. The entire year, chat. Not a week, not the month, not just for the little 3 months overdraft. No, the entire year. Come on over, read the articles. They're very informative. Wiles and I we're talking about your write-up on the Eliminator. I think I got Wiles to love the Eliminator a little more. He got in it. He's like, you know what? You're right, man. We make it to week. I think it's 11 or 12. I think it's 11. You win $2,000 on that team immediately. So pretty cool. Head over to Fanspeak and show the description for the link down here is in the show description. Sign up $34.99 for the entire year. Again, we appreciate every single one of you guys. Steve, we are on the 6th spot, smack dab in the middle. Let's see if we got any of our usual people. A Flock fan is in here. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't recognize any names. Well, Spartan I recognize,
We
but I don't think
we are up.
I
Gibbs,
think Gibbs.
Puka. Yes, I'm cool with Gibbs. Let's rock that here.
Yeah,
Oh, and I did get my best ball overlay fixed. I finally figured it out here. So we do got the stuff in here, Steve. Not that you need to know that. Everyone already knows that you know everything about best ball. So I know you know all the things, but for my dumbass, I got these here just so I can see what it looks like. Again, if you haven't signed up for best ball overlay, if you are a serious drafter, we have partnered with Best Ball Overlay. Partnered with Pat, the guy who was just on Fantasy Jeopardy. We partnered with him for the BBO, for the Best Ball Overlay. You can use our code Fanspeak for $10 off. Make sure you go sign up. Let him know that you saw it on our show, that you loved it. He loves to hear the feedback of it. Pat's a really cool guy, so you're supporting a great guy with a great cause and just a will to want to help everyone draft better teams and construct better teams. So make sure you head on over to bestballoverlay.com, sign up, use our code Fanspeak, $10 off per month.
Yeah, no, and Best Ball Overlay, they just launched their website. It's really cool. Even the free version is allowing you to see ADP risers and fallers, things like that.
Mike Ross says, I'm glad you're spreading the word on the Underdog Lord, but you got to stay out of the OnlyFans DMs trying to exchange subscriptions and do a show together. Hey, Mike Rob, if you can't tell me that wouldn't be some great content. I traded subscription for subscription, got him on the show, get him into the Underdog world. That only opens up the Underdog OnlyFans world. I'm just saying, Mike, it would be some great content. Hartman checking in GM. I don't know if I can get that approved by you and Meg. If I send you, hey, it's gonna be this person this week, you're like, who is that? I'm like, let me send you a subscription link here, and you let me know what you think. All right, Steve, we are coming up next. We got a little Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey, Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, Rashee Rice, T. Higgins. Let's see. So Gibbs. I mean, as you can see, I do not have Brock Bowers. Now, my BBO did not fully load everything because it shows I have no Irving, but we're on the clock. Bowers, Taylor, Irving, Rice, Higgins.
To me, Jacob. Taylor or Bowers would be the pick.
All right, let's go Taylor. That feels safer. So hard for me to take a tight end this high.
Yeah, I'm not big on elite, or especially Bowers McBride, just because the cost is a little too much compared to Kittle, who actually outscored them both last year and obviously has more history. But like when Bowers starts falling to the back half of the second round, then I get okay.
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's just a lot of draft capital to invest.
I'm with you, and I think Gibbs Taylor is very strong. Those guys are going to outscore basically any receiver combo you could have.
Yeah, definitely. They're very feel like safe floors. Gibbs probably a little bit more higher of a ceiling, but Taylor maybe a little bit higher of a touchdown opportunity because we all know what David Montgomery still means to that team around the goal line. So I could see Taylor getting more rushing touchdowns than Gibbs, but Gibbs' weekly ceiling just feels a little higher by what he can do. But I really hope that the Colts end up giving Jonathan Taylor, a little bit more work through the air. I'd love to see them dump that down to Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he can handle a workload of 25 touches a week easily. I mean, he's still young, is a very good running back. So I don't think that they should be limiting him on what he can do and, how many opportunities that they could give him on a week-to-week basis. But we shall see what the Colts want to do there. Steve, up again here. Terry McLaurin, JSN, Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams, Josh Allen, Mike Evans.
I would probably go McLaurin or Devontae.
Okay, I was going to suggest, I don't know if you wanted to go, well, he's by week 8, but Kyron, that's an interesting third too. But you said Adams or McLaurin?
Yeah.
All right, let's take Adams.
Yeah,
they're so concentrated.
They're so concentrated, and the thing is, like, look, I'm drafting Puka as the wide receiver 1 on this team, but this is a 1A, 1B, and actually probably even more so than, say, the Bengals, Chase, and Higgins, because I think if healthy, there's almost no chance Higgins outproduces Chase. But here, I actually think there's a chance that Adams could outproduce Puka. I mean, he's been one of the best receivers in the game his entire career, and even last year with the injury, with playing with the Raiders for 6 weeks or whatever it was, trade over, learning a new team, even if it was with Rodgers, he still finished at like 14 and a half points per game. That was like wide receiver 12, whatever it was. Like his upside is so high, and he's one of the best red zone receivers we've ever seen. And honestly, that's something the Rams have struggled with lately. One of the reasons I'm down on Kyron is I think Stafford and Adams throw the ball more in the red zone now.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I know McVay just seems to lean on giving an opportunity or two to Kyron around the goal line, and if he can't do it,
Yeah,
then I feel like they back up and pass the ball. But I mean, maybe you're right. Like maybe that just flip flops a little bit where they're getting down there and they got two receivers that have very good hands. I mean, Puka's known for that, and obviously Devontae Adams
oh
is as
yeah,
well. So if they get within the five, I mean that might just be an opportunity to throw one of those guys a fade or a crossing route. We are up again. Tet McMillan, Daniels, Cook, Jameson Williams, Metcalf, Hunter,
boy, I'm
Sutton.
good with any of those picks. I know we didn't get Terry, but I'm still fine going Jaden. I like
You
the
want Jameson?
receivers. Yeah, let's go Jameson. We already
Because
have a
that
team correlation.
Yep.
I know we have a lot of week 8 buys right now, but there's just so much upside on this team with Adams and Jameson Williams, who, let's be honest, could even be in for more of a breakout this year. He missed a couple games last season, really turned it on down the stretch. He was fantastic down the stretch for the Lions. And yeah, I mean, there's changes with the offense coordinator. We'll see, but I know they drafted Isaac Tesla, but I think this is a very concentrated passing offense as well. I mean, Gibbs and Laporta will get theirs, but it's going to be the Amon-Ra Jameson show.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they're another team that kind of go more concentrated than some of the others. So I agree with you. Tesla is interesting though as a late round pick. If you have a golf team and you need another stack in there, he is interesting because I mean we've seen Jameson Williams get himself in trouble, and
That is true.
also he can get hurt too. So he has been obviously hurt already. So if he would go down and Tesla would just kind of de facto slot into that role, he could be very valuable as well. So that's somebody that if I'm getting a stack and or a bring back, I don't mind taking him as my last pick. We
Yeah.
are up in 2. I really hope George Kittle stays here.
Oh, that'd be an amazing start.
And just like that, he does not. Does that guy have 2 tight ends? Jesus criminy. Kittle and Bowers.
Now,
Oh
what do
my
you
God.
feel about Hertz? I know we don't have any correlation, but he gets so many of his points on the ground. I feel like this is a value, um, and we can always get Goddard later.
Yeah, and honestly, Hurts is one of those guys that like if I don't stack it, like I don't force it because again, like you're saying, like he could just get rushing touchdowns and just get there every week. Doesn't have to be a guy that gets him, that helps him get there. So yeah, I mean, Hurts is one of those quarterbacks I'm okay doing that with. We do coming back, we're gonna be up in 12 picks. I wonder if any of these running backs are still there. Wouldn't mind throwing a third on there.
Yeah, I'd stay away from Walker just because we have so many week 8 buys so far to start.
Yeah.
But Mixon, Hubbard, Caleb, even Henderson, um, Kamara. I love Kamara. He's definitely one of my highest owned running backs. But yeah, no, I think I'd really love to grab another running back here, and then I think this team's really in a good spot.
Yeah, we'll see what falls back to us here. Addison's obviously a bring back for us on Detroit. San Francisco would be a bring back on the week 16. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Hartman had a good question in the chat. He said, "What wide receiver rank do you think Bowers finishes this year? I.e., he would have been wide receiver 9 in total points last year. Where do you think he falls, Steve?"
Um, I think he's top 15. But honestly, 9 is tough. Part of the reason he finished 9 is so many wide receivers not just missed like large portions of the season, like Diggs or um, guys like that, but just guys missing a couple games here, a couple games there. Bowers did stay healthy. I mean, Devontae Adams is actually being a perfect example. I think Bowers might have had more total fantasy points than Adams, but Adams smoked him on points per game. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to double check on that. But I still think probably a top 15 guy. Let's see.
Kamara is there. That now he's week 11, so is Taylor. I don't know. I know that we're kind of trying to stay away from that. We
Yeah,
got Jacoby Myers, Jerry Jeudy.
I think Kamara, just because Connor and Monty wouldn't make sense.
All right. And
And
plus, he fell. That's a value,
yeah,
58
he
to
fell,
67.
and it's just that those are three running backs who can all be top six running backs. In points per game, Kamara was, Taylor was fifth or seventh, I can't remember exactly, and Gibbs was third, I believe. So yeah, I mean, we just have such insane upside with our three running backs, and yes, we paid a price for him, but it's the way that we win both the running back position and the flex position is with a strong running back start like this.
Yep. Yeah, feels pretty good as of right now. Coming up here, if we want to look at wide receiver, Judy, Pearsall, Golden, Diggs, Mooney, some of those guys sticking in there. I mean, I don't think we probably want to take Laporta. That's probably too many pieces there.
Yeah, I mean, if he not this pick, if he somehow because he has fallen some more, so if he fell like to the next pick, then maybe it's a value sort of thing. But right now, I think we go receiver. I'm very high on Pearsall and Golden and Diggs. Those would be my three options. But I think I'd go Pearsall. I think I really think he's going to have a second year breakout. I'm drafting Juwan Jennings also, but the Brandon Ayuk stuff does not sound good. Could miss a good chunk of time, and then people will just assume like he'll be back and he'll be 100% ready, and it's just we don't always see that. When you're telling me a guy's starting on pup, I get nervous, and I do begin to wonder like how quickly can he get acclimated. So it could be more like not just a 5-6 week injury with the pup, but it could be 8, 9, 10 weeks before he's really back there. And I just think Pearsall, we saw what he did down the stretch last year, mainly in week 17, but a couple other games as well. And give this guy a full off season, give this guy not getting shot. He was a rookie first rounder for a reason. And I just think in his limited time, particularly when you consider that he did not have, his full off season or even during the season, he missed the first 7 games or whatever it was. That's practice time that you're not playing because he was coming back from getting shot. So yeah, I'm just really bullish on Pearsall this year.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at some of our guys here. Like Cooper Kupp is a bring back for us on the Rams week 16. Downs would be a correlation with Taylor.
How do you feel about Hawkinson if he's there? There'd be a slight fall and a bring back to our Lions.
Hawkinson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Honestly, I haven't drafted Hawkinson once.
Yeah. No, at first I was a little off on him, but the more I kind of thought about it, looked at it, I do think with a young quarterback like McCarthy, he could rely on the tight end more. We saw this last year, Jaden Daniels. I mean, Jaden Daniels, there was no viable option behind Terry, and he was relying on Ertz. Drake May was relying on Hunter Henry, and I understand the Vikings had two really good receivers, but his yards and targets and catches weren't bad for the games that he played last year. He just had no touchdowns, I believe, or maybe one touchdown, and so his fantasy points look terrible. But give this guy 17 weeks, he's going to have 5 to 9 touchdowns, and I think just totally viable.
Yeah, again, I haven't drafted him once. I didn't like where he was going. He's fallen a little bit more in a respectable range. For me, I just generally end up taking guys like Egbuka, some of those other guys that are sitting here. That's probably why I haven't. And Downs. I really like Downs. If you go look at his first read percentage and
Oh yeah,
like Downs is underrated. I feel like again, PSA guys, Josh Down, pretty good damn wide receiver, and the Colts looked at him on the first read a ton last year. All right, so we have Mayfield, Fields, Purdy, Trey Harris, Tyrone Tracy,
I would
Andrews,
go
Burden.
Trey Harris.
little Trey Harris
Uh,
in our life.
so my thought, and especially since I don't think we have any or many people in the draft in the chat, but I think with Hawk, if we target Goddard, we could stop at 2 tight ends. Is kind of the way I'm thinking.
Okay. Are you potentially trying to get Purdy at all here to stack up with Pearsall in that easy schedule, or are we waiting a little bit and trying to go with McCarthy or something?
No, I'd be okay. The other reason I mentioned Todd Harris is we have great number 2 stacks now. Either Purdy if he falls back, which he typically doesn't, but if he falls back, I think there's clear value. But then yeah, you have guys like JJ, you have
Herbert.
Herbert, um, and even Stafford late. So yeah, I think we have some good options. And yeah, there goes Purdy. But so yeah, what's our next pick number?
We are up at, oh my god, I can hear myself in your computer. We are up at 115.
All right, I don't know what's going on with my audio.
So that puts us right here.
115. And Goff is another obviously stack option.
Yeah, I don't hate golf there either. That's nice. With by week 8, Hertz is 9. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I actually kind of like Goff there. I think he's a good balance to Hurts, and we have a good bet on the lines right now.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're in on Kyle Williams as well. He's sitting there too. I'm just trying to look at what we want to try to do at wide receiver. We can probably wait a little bit longer on running back to like
Yeah,
fill that in.
agreed.
All right, golf is there if we want to just pull up golf here.
I think that makes sense.
I mean,
You
we
know,
have 2 stacks with them, so
exactly. And we love the Lions offense. Yes, new offense coordinator. Yes, the Frank Ragnow thing. I get it. Why some people are going to be detractors, but they've been top 5 in yards and touchdowns each of the last 3 years. They're basically returning the entire team but Frank Ragnow. Kevin Zeitler left also, but they did replace him. So, there's not a ton of turnover here. And that's a team, they finished first last year with Williams missing multiple games and Montgomery missing multiple games. So I'm very content with betting on the Lions being a top 5 offense again.
yep. The pound fantasy dog pound checking in says, fellas, Bindle was already in here too, Pat. So
Yeah,
your competitor, first to launch in on the chat. Appreciate you stopping in. As you can
but
see, best ball
yeah.
overlay loaded up on here. Already told the good people about it. I think they're crazy for not signing up for it yet already. I don't know what they're doing, but Steve, we are up. Jonnu Smith, Tootin, Stevenson, Herbert there. If we want to just straight up 3 QBs right there already. Njoku, Hollywood Brown, Tajay Spears, JJ.
Yeah, I
4
would
seconds.
kind of lean quarterback there. Herbert or JJ.
Let's just
And
take. We'll just take Herbie.
I know it's expensive to take 3 this early, but there's nothing wrong with winning the quarterback position. And especially when you feel good about your other positions. I think we got 3 elite running backs. I think right now 4 quality receivers, and a really good tight end, a tight end who could easily be top 5. He was a couple years ago when he was healthy. So no, overall, I don't mind ensuring that we win the quarterback position. And we'd be pulling up a receiver that just doesn't feel good.
Yeah, it's nice too. If you look at our quarterbacks, we got a rushing quarterback who's going to play outside 16, 17, which is, I think, good for a rushing quarterback, especially of his caliber around the goal line. Golf, last 2 weeks, dome games. Herbert, last 2 weeks, dome games.
Yeah.
Feels like a cool trio there. All
Yeah.
right, coming up here, if we want to look at wide receiver, we are slowly getting killed on it. Quentin Johnston, the next best. Xavier Legette, Josh Palmer. We do have some tight end option here of Jonnu Smith, who continues to fall. That's wild. Dallas Goedert, Isaiah Likely. I mean, do we just take Jonnu because he's If this guy doesn't take him, he goes to 113. We're at pick 139.
I mean, yeah, I'm good with it. I don't mind not having Hurt stacked when you're getting value like that.
That is just, I mean, I know it says absent from minicamp. This feels like just an overcorrection to me in the
Yeah,
market right now.
it's honestly just like the Terry McLaurin thing. Like, it's a contract dispute.
Yeah, he's going to be out there playing for somebody. He's not
Yeah,
just going to go make no money. Like, he's not a guy that's going to sit out because, I mean, why?
no,
Like, he's Jonnu Smith. He's been a journeyman through the league on different teams. Like, he's not just going to be like, nope, I can go not get paid, later on in my career
exactly.
now. No.
Exactly. No, the value is just too good there.
Yeah,
I
that's
get
wild.
I get people like, maybe passing on him 6 picks, 8 picks, 10 picks, something, but I mean, over 2 rounds of value for about two, that's just way too much.
26 picks.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Over 2. Yeah. Wild. And again, like, I'm completely fine going with nobody stacked up with Hurts. He's, half the time he can get 2 rushing touchdowns, and it's not going to matter if you didn't have a guy because nobody really did anything, right? Like, so I'm fine with that. All right, coming up here again, we got some wide receivers. Quentin Johnston, if we want to just double tap the old LAC wide receivers. Josh Palmer does pair up with us on the Philly bring back. Cedric Tillman, I know we both like Cedric Tillman. What are your thoughts there?
Do you want to go running back here? I don't mind Garendo or Rashard White. Rashard White, if John is still in Miami, he's a bring back to Jonnu.
I mean, I'd rather go for that game in the end, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that.
And that's to me, Rashard White's one of the best, like, particularly the way I build, but fourth running backs, because his floor is high. His ceiling, if anything happens to Bucky, I think he just gets a much bigger role in one of the best offenses in the league. He had a major red zone role, major passing role still, even with Bucky. I don't think a lot of that changes. I really, really don't. So I think he might not have as many fantasy points as he did a year ago, but I think he's going to be one of the better number 2 backs out there.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. And again, like you said it, the thing for me is, we've already seen Rashad White be a wide or a running back 1 for the team before Bucky, ended up being Bucky. So if Bucky goes down, we already know that he can handle the workload. He knows what he's doing. Like, we've seen him do it before. That's very valuable to me in these later rounds where you're getting a guy that you already know he's done it. So if he gets the opportunity to do it again, probably going to do quite nicely.
Yeah, and I think he just also carries, what I like about him is he carries so much standalone value. I was talking to Meg earlier, and it's like we both like Kenneth Walker, we both like Zach Charbonnet, but if Walker is truly the one again, weeks where he was and didn't get injured midway through the game, Charbonnet did nothing. But when Charbonnet played, he was amazing. So just incredible contingent value there, but not a ton of standalone value. Rashard White has very good standalone value. And then the contingent value if anything happens to Bucky.
Steve, I think we're living on a pipe dream if Cedric Tillman makes it back to us. That would be ideal, personally, in my mind. Would love that. If he doesn't, what do you want to do here?
So if he doesn't, I don't mind pulling up Pat Bryant. I really like him, and I think we are going to obviously go 8 wide receivers.
Knowles a bring back. We don't know. Obviously, he's a wild card for sure. Wan'Dale Robinson got a boatload of targets last year. I like targeting him a little bit too. But yeah, I mean, Pat Bryant, God, please don't do it.
One more.
Bo knows, don't do it. Oh,
there we go.
Okay, that is excellent.
Bo knows we needed Cedric Tillman to make this team work.
Oh, that is so nice. Again, there's a 10 spot value drop on Cedric Tillman.
Yeah.
Steve, I don't want to say we're drafting the winner, but it doesn't look like we're drafting the loser. All right, just saying.
No, this feels really good. And, even though I totally think we're going with 8 receivers, I'm happy with our receiver room right now. Like, Adams, Jameson Williams, and then Ricky, Harris, and Tillman. It's a lot of upside on this team.
Yeah, we're putting ourselves in a nice spot here. Obviously, I'm going to filter out QB because we're definitely not taking 4 QB. PSA, never go 4 QB unless you're in a super flex. Please, for the love of God, everyone, if you listen to nothing I say ever, listen to that. 4 QBs in a non-super flex is not the way to do it. Do not. Abort mission.
Not ideal.
All right. Do we want to take 3 tight ends or no? We have 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, shit. No, never mind. We can't if we want to go 8 wide receivers
Yeah,
and then another RB.
I think makes more sense to get an eighth receiver.
So I'm going to filter out tight end for now. So we have Demario Douglas, Alec Pierce, Michael Wilson, Hopkins, Keenan Allen, De'Ami Brown coming up here. Pop Douglas is interesting just because of what I think his upside could be on a week-to-week basis, depending on what Kyle Williams does. I don't want to take Alec Pierce. I don't mind Hopkins either, just because he's on a good offense. That's not bad. What are you thinking? We got 8 seconds. Keenan Allen.
Pop Douglas, I'm good with. Like, I think he is a decent floor play, and because we have some upside plays in like Harris and Tillman and even Ricky, I don't mind adding a floor play to the mix. We could go wide receiver coming back. If Will Shipley's there, I would take him. Not just for the stack, but I think it's a good, final running back piece. Incredibly hinted value.
Okay, we will have, if we take Shipley, we will have 2 on 11 and 2 on 9. If that matters to you.
Yeah, but I mean,
never mind. Will Shipley went mute point.
Okay.
Yeah, like honestly, like I don't even hate waiting a little bit. Like there's guys down here that I don't mind taking a shot on. Taj Brooks, I don't mind that. There's Jerome Ford down there. He's a floor play on that, which I don't think we have to in this scenario. I don't think we need to take a floor play because we already have like such stud guys here.
Yeah.
So Taj Brooks would be an interesting one in my eyes, just because Chase Brown never goes down. Taj Brooks might be able to handle a semi good workload for a very good offensive team. So I don't hate waiting on that as well. Calvin Austin's there. Roman Wilson I know is down there. Those 2 guys are wild cards.
What's the top of the receiver board look like?
Alec Pierce, De'Ami Brown, and Hopkins already went, and so did Keenan Allen.
Are you totally against Pierce or?
No, it's I didn't know if you just wanted to take that because we have Taylor like that. Unfortunately, that's an offense I don't think is going to throw up a boatload of points. But I mean, I do like he had spike weeks last week. Never mind. Jesus, he just went F us.
I'm good with. I know it's another week 14. I mean, Darius Slayton to me is just free money. It's another week 14 buy, but with us taking it is a starter. He's got spike week potential. He's got floor play because he should be out there. And we are taking 8 receivers, so having 3 on week 14, I don't think is an issue.
It's funny, like you like Darius Slayton a lot. I like Wandale a lot. Like I think Wandale's just because of what the target distribution has been in New York there.
Yeah, I just don't know. I think Russ and probably even Dart figure into more like Slayton strengths, like downfield passing versus what we saw last year with a bit of Danny Dimes, but even particularly when you got to like Drew Lock and
the Italian stallion.
I always want to say Danny DeVito, but
Tommy DeVito. Yeah.
So
we are up next here. Tutu's in there. He's interesting to me. I mean, again, we can take like Taj.
I like Tutu. Let's go Tutu.
Yeah.
I'm fine just betting on that Rams offense. I think they can be.
Yeah, I mean, we got him and Devontae now, so
yeah. And it's just that should be a top 10 offense. Last year there was a time where they were missing 4 offensive lineman starters plus Puka plus Cup. Like that offense can be so much better this year, and I'm really excited for what McVay does.
So for our last guy here, I mean, I think we should definitely take some sort of upside guy. Brashard Smith, Taj Brooks, Ja'Cory as well. Like is there anybody else here? I'm going to filter this out. Any other running backs here that you think is an upside play for us as the 5th running back on the team?
I think of these, given our build, I would go Taj Brooks. Like you said, it's great contingent value. I think there could be a little standalone value. He's definitely sounds like he's impressing so far in camp, and just his level of competition is not high. I mean, you and I both like Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt as well, but there's just more total competition there. I feel like,
Yeah.
um,
And better draft capital with Brooks over
yeah, yeah, and it's
JCM
just,
here.
I mean, he's competing with Zach Moss and Samaje Perine, like guys who, Moss had a moment when Taylor went down a couple years ago, but really has never shown he can be a feature guy. So if something were to happen to Chase Brown,
Y-
we know Perine ain't doing it,
Yeah.
So
You can say they suck. It's okay, Steve.
yeah. I mean, they've useful NFL roles, but they are like number three backs. They are, Jeremy McNichols for Washington.
Yep. All right, let's see. Bucky tweets a hamstring something.
And
Rashad White.
just for those who are watching, don't forget to hit the like. I think we're still a few away. We want to get a second draft ripped.
Taj looks like such a smooth, natural pass. All right, Taj is here. Yeah, I mean, we've been in on Taj the whole time. Definitely got a nice little Taj bag in the big board as well. So if that man finds a way to go off this year, I'm going to be a happy guy.
Yeah, he was my favorite sleeper from the very first show and article that we did, like in this off season. I told Meg, Taj Brooks, I know he's not going day one, not going day two. He could go anywhere day three, but he's my favorite like sleeper in this class. I think coaches are just going to fall in love with this guy. And that's, I think, what we're already seeing is the Bengals coaching staff really seems to like him. I think Joe Burrow is going to like him. I don't think he's a major threat for Chase Brown, but he's just going to be a guy who, week in, week out, he's out there, gets enough usage, he'll have a couple usable weeks. I just definitely see him vaulting up the depth chart.
Yep. Let's hope so. All right, so draft over. We went 3-5-8-2. Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, the J squad here. Got Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan. Jesus, our first, look at this. J. My God. Yeah, so Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara, Rashad White, Taj Brooks, Devontae Adams, Jamison Williams, Ricky Pearsall, Trey Harris, Cedric Tillman, Demario Douglas, Darius Slayton, Tutu Atwell, tight ends, TJ Hawkinson, and the drop of a century, Jonnu Smith. I don't think I will see that drop for Jonnu again. Yeah, over 2 rounds. That's a great value. I was okay with stopping with 2 because of the value we got here. That is very good. I like that.
No, I mean, Hawkinson, little fall, Jonnu, major fall, like huge value. I really liked, a lot of the guys that we targeted, really strong offenses, or project to be good offenses, Lions, Rams, Vikings. We'll have to see on a couple other teams, and then just a nice mix. I think that's one thing I like doing is the mix of floor play and upside plays, like with receiver, like Pop Douglas and, some of those other guys like Tillman. So overall, yeah, I think this is a really strong team. And me, I love my heavy investment in running backs, and with those three, I think we're just going to get a ton of points every week.
Yeah, we set ourselves up. I know it's one of your favorite strategies to make sure you set yourself up for the running back to be your flex spot most weeks. I think we did that here with ourselves. So that is nice to know. And yeah, we got ourselves 2 really nice high ceiling, kind of higher floor wide receivers there, and filled in nicely down here. I mean, we just need like 2 of these guys to really just pan out for us. And I think that we set ourselves up in a pretty nice spot here. So all right. Well, that is good. I do like that. Did we hit the goal? Let me
Don't think so.
don't think so. See, and we can't give the chat, it's like I tell my wife, right? Like if we're gonna punish the kid and set a goal for him or set something for him, he doesn't do it. We can't just go get him the candy or go get him the new toy he wants, right? Like people, you got a minute. Go in there, hit the like, get to the 25. If nobody else wants to draft, that's fine. Still, make us do it.
Yeah.
Give you a minute here. Look at that, 299 or 2,999, Steve. We were just short of the 3,000 mark there. Ugh, brutal.
So close.
Brutal.
So while we give the chat a minute or two, I know you haven't fully uploaded your best ball overlay yet, but who is somebody that you're now targeting more, that, we've had, 6 weeks of drafts, 7 weeks of drafts? Who's somebody that you weren't targeting early on, but you're now targeting a lot more?
Well, Steve, let's head over here real quick, and I will look at my completed drafts, and I will tell you. Let's check out some exposure here. I'm trying to look here. It's like somebody I recently started to take more. Hmm. It's a good question. You know what? I think I've been in on Caleb, but I recently, like, now I'm really in on Caleb Johnson.
Yeah.
There's something about him that I'm infatuated with. I think he does everything that the Steelers want to do, and he does it well, especially with their run scheme. I think that Warren is great, but I think that Caleb Johnson at the end of the year is just going to be full-fledged number one on the team. And that's what I want at the end of the year. I'm drafting for the end of the year. So Caleb Johnson, somebody I really like drafting a lot right now. And I think the wide receiver that stuck out to me when I was scrolling down here is Calvin Ridley. I started to take a little bit more of, just because really it's his role, right? It's
Yeah.
nobody else on that team is going to take the wide receiver one targets away from Calvin Ridley. So it feels like a really nice click where he's going to know that that's the wide receiver one. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it on a team that probably going to suck. Ain't gonna lie. Sorry, Titans fans. You guys probably going to blow a little bit. You're going to be passing the ball. Calvin Ridley is going to get himself a nice share of that target.
Well, and famously with Ridley, I've talked about this before in other streams, is he had almost the exact same points in production as Zay Flowers last year.
We hit it.
He's going, around past Zay Flowers now. He moved up. He was going even higher, later. And I did see we hit the like. Well, thank you everyone for that. But the thing is, like, Zay Flowers' quarterback situation is not getting better. Like, you're not getting better than Lamar Jackson 40 touchdowns. Where there's no question that Ridley's quarterback situation got better. Like, Cam Ward would have to be the bust of bust to not be as good as what Levis and Mason Rudolph did last year.
Yeah, exactly. It's an opportunity that I think everyone should be in on with Ridley. All right, let's jump into another
There's
again.
Wiles.
The Schnauzer. Yep. 20 seconds per. He was probably doing dad duty on the first one. I know I talked to him today, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll be in there." So 20 seconds per. I'm gonna count it down here for all you guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Entering now. We have 5 more to start. Chat alert,
Nice.
alert, fire drill. Get in now before it fills. We got 3 more to start. Wiles, don't be sleeping. Don't fall asleep. Are you changing the baby? Hurry up. Hit the start. Get in. Chat is excellent. Look at that. We needed more.
Yep.
What are we at now? We had to get 25. We already have 28 now. Well
Love
done,
it.
chat. Well done. Oh, draft starting soon. Let's see where we flight in. All right, we got Steve. We are in the 6th spot once again.
Okay.
We got anybody else in here with us? Wiles is at
Wiles.
14. Young boy, that sounds familiar. Yeah, Wiles is at the end. Young boy sounds familiar. I don't know if I know anybody else. If you are in the chat and joined us, please let us know. We will take a little gander at your team at the very end. Look at these, just no badgies.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Let's see, 1, 2. We got 4 reds and a black badge. Everyone else, no badgies. Ooh. Soft room, or do we got to be on alert because they're not going to know how to draft and they're just going to be all over Helgen creation, sniping quarterbacks left and right?
Well, and I will say this: these Schnauzer rooms, I've done about 8. Max the first one, done about 8 so far in the second one. There are some real, wild things going on, and honestly, I do too. Like in a Schnauzer draft the other night, I was on somebody's stream and I took both lines running back, something I don't typically do, but wanted to mix it up.
Yep. Yeah. So everyone stay on high alert. This is the time where people experiment in these ballers on a budget draft. So high alert, chat. High alert. Steve, again, I think we're gonna be able to take Gibbs if we want.
Yeah.
We do got Gibbs again.
Yeah.
We can take this and not go so RB heavy if we want. Just take Gibbs and then maybe
Yeah,
lean a little bit more on the wide
let's try
receiver
that.
side.
strategy. And to answer, I think it was FK's question
Yes.
about the Bears, I'm higher on them. I definitely moved them up. I'm going to probably continue to move them up a little bit. It's got to be a good sign. I really, the two biggest threats to Chubb or to Swift and Roshan were Chubb and Dobbins, and they're both signed. I don't think they're totally out of the woods yet. I think you have a situation where the guy traded.
Hit him with the gritty coming in. Let's see a triple
Tempting.
elite quarterback build tonight.
um,
Absolutely wild.
but no, I think you gotta like both of them. And I will say I've been drafting more Kyle Monangai. I mean, there's good camp reports on him. He's free in the 18th round. Um, and similar to what we did with um, Taj Brooks or like a Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, there's opportunity there, and we know for sure Swift is not like an every down back. So I'm probably a little bit more in Roshan than Swift, just because touchdowns could really swing his way. But I will be drafting Monangai some more as well.
We are up. Brock Bowers, Taylor Irving, Rashi Rice, T. Higgins.
Pretty much the same guys we had last time.
Yeah,
Do you
so
want to?
it's either Bowers or like Higgins for me.
Let's do Higgins. Higgins, I like that.
It feels so high to take a wide receiver 2 on a team in Higgins, but I always think of what if Chase goes down?
Yeah.
Higgins is a guy that you'd be taking in the top 5, 6 of this draft.
Oh, and I mean, last year Chase didn't go down at all and was wide receiver 1, and Higgins missed a ton of time. But as we saw, when he was healthy, he was amazing. His points per game was 8th or something like that, 9th. So just the upside is there. And I've said it before, this is the first year in basically forever that a Bengals player is not coming off an injury, holding out, or offensive, that is,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
or both. And so we could really see this team just be at a different level when you have Higgins, Chase, and Burrow just all healthy, all raring to go. And Burrow's also made comments about like we can't start slow again. So hopefully they get it.
Tyreek, Terry, JSN, Adams, Kyron, Evans.
I'm not huge into Tyreek. I probably lean Terry there if we don't want to do Adams again.
Okay, Terry
Terry
went.
just goes. I mean,
I don't mind taking Kyron here. I just don't think we should do it a third, like have a third as well. So it's
yeah,
up to you.
let's go Kyron. I don't take a ton of them at this range. Usually I want him to fall a little bit just because I do think he's a little overpriced. But I don't hate it, and they both have bye week 8, which
Yeah, I
isn't,
know.
but this is definitely a draft. We're going to be different. Maybe we go 6 running backs total, just a different build. We'll see what the structure ends up being. But yeah, I mean, Higgins, any time that Chase misses, Higgins is insane. Like he's going to be projecting as a top 3 wide receiver any week.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw what he did week 17 with Chase on the field. I mean, he
Yeah.
still has that potential to just go banana lands, even with Chase out there. So I really like, again, I'm a big Higgins guy. I think I just like T. Higgins. I liked him a lot last year, obviously, and still like him this year. He costs slightly more this year, but still feel like the value is there, especially with the Bengals defense being absolutely trash. They're going to be slinging the ball around an absolute fuck ton because they're going to need to.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think the Bengals, they have to throw the ball. That's the only way they win. And Chase,
Whoa, Wiles, are you hammered? Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels back to back. Gritty.
He saw Grady's comment.
Yeah, say Gritty. If you're in here, you might find your guy to do that tonight. Sheesh. That's a different strategy. I'll give him that. Damn, brother. All right.
Yeah.
You better land the plane, Terry. All right. We got DJ Moore, Jameson Williams, DK Metcalf, Devontae Smith. For me here, it's either Metcalf or Moore.
Let's go Metcalf. I like that. I know Metcalf was a little down last year with JSN, but I do think Rodgers and him can connect, can be very good. Rodgers had had two good wide receivers last year. Like I think people forget how good. Meg just wrote an article about that on our Substack. Rodgers is going as quarterback 28. He finished last year as like quarterback 15 in points per game, 17, or I'm sorry, 15 in total points, 17 I think it was in points per game. So I think him and Metcalf are going to be just fine.
Yeah. I mean, they're Metcalf. I like just the amount of opportunities. I assume he's probably going to see 140 plus targets. Honestly, like
Yeah.
So here's the weird thing that I think about the Steelers is you have Arthur Smith who wants to smash the ball as much as he can. Then you bring in Aaron Rodgers who, over his career, tends to like to pass the ball around. So that dynamic is going to be interesting to see if they let Rodgers get his way a little bit, or if Arthur Smith's going to just lay down the law and say, "Hey, Aaron, we ain't passing that ball, brother."
So I think the interesting thing is Arthur Smith was already been quoted once saying, "We didn't pay DK this," and
We are up quick.
um,
Waddle, Ridley, Mixon.
let's do Ridley. We just talked about him as a guy that we're both high on. So yeah, I like Ridley.
Okay.
But I think as Arthur Smith made a comment, like we paid DK for a reason, and we went out and got a Hall of Fame quarterback for a reason. Like if we wanted to just hand the ball off 40 times, they could have done that with Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, I just fear like, does he have the playbook to do that? Like, is he gonna have to flip to the back of the book where it says pass and there's like 5 plays?
So yeah, it's like techno football, and you put in more running plays than pass plays. No, I think what I will say is Arthur Smith that one year, I think it's 2020 in Tennessee or 2021 in Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill was really good. Like he was a top 10 quarterback. He was quarterback 7 overall. And some of that was due to his rushing. He had like 6 rushing touchdowns, something like that. But even his passing stats were very good. Didn't throw, wasn't like top 5 or top 10 in passing attempts, but where you just made the point, Rodgers, that is his game. Like last year, the Jets were one of the highest passing teams. Rodgers threw for 28 touchdowns. Like that's one of the highest in the league outside the 40 guys, Burrow, Lamar, Baker, and Goff. So, he was right in that next tier. I think people are not counting for the fact of what Rodgers can be when healthy. And again, that was Rodgers coming off an Achilles injury, with just a mess of a situation. I think Arthur Smith, they'll find a way. What the one concern I'd have is the Steelers defense, if it stays good or elite, like they are also very good at getting touchdowns, like creating their own points, kind of like the Cowboys of a couple years ago. Dak still ended up as a top 5 quarterback, but and Lamb was wide receiver 1, but it just sometimes some drives get taken away from you.
Do we want to take Burrow for the stack?
I think we do it. And this is why I wanted to pull T up, because if he got to this round, sure, like you can sometimes get him, a few spots later, but it just feels so good when Burrow's there in the 60s.
We just talked about how they're going to throw the ball a boatload.
Well, and here's the thing: you look at it. Burrow's career, 2020, he's a rookie, he gets injured halfway through. 2021, he finishes 10th, I believe, in points per game. 2022, he finished, I want to say third in points per game. 2023, he had the early injury, the holdout, and the late injury. Not really holdout, but they just got off to a super slow start, and then he had the wrist thumb injury late. So he wasn't good that year. But last year he was 4th in points per game. Like anytime this guy's on the field, he's producing top 10. And last year he had, I want to say, is 12 or 13 QB1 weeks, either finishing quarterback 1 through 12, and I believe 4, if not 5 of them were top 5 weeks. So that is on par with any of the other leads, even without him having the rushing floor.
We are going to be up here momentarily. We got Ricky Pearsall, Matt Golden. Okay, actually, we have Matt Golden, Jaden Reed, Khalil Shakir, Pacheco, Pollard, Aaron Jones.
Let's go Golden. I really believe he's going to be the wide receiver one for the Packers. Like Jaden Reed, unfortunately, he's just never out there in two wide receiver sets. And I think Golden is a guy that I like with this receiver room. We got three veterans in Higgins, DK, and Ridley, all who are going to get a ton of targets, even Higgins being the number two and DK and the Ridley, kind of as we talked about, both of them, they are like not just the number one on their team, but they are the clear cut, you know, nobody else in the ballpark for them. Uh,
Yep.
but Golden, I think, has the opportunity to be number one in his team as well. And I think the Packers will throw a bit more than they did last year. Um, so yeah, I'm just a big fan of his upside and his explosive ability.
Yep. I was just watching Wiles here. Man, I can still hear myself in your thing. I was trying to look at Wiles because he went two wide receivers, two quarterbacks, two running backs. He messed it all up. He should have went two tight ends right there. Wow, you messed up the 2-2-2-2 strategy.
He does have a fun team.
It is interesting, that is for sure. But yeah. Very interesting. All right. So when we come back up here, we were up in 3 picks. Oh boy. B-Rob, Jordan Mason, Jalen Warren, Cam Scatabo, recently signed contract. Cam Scatabo. There was a slight concern there, I saw. And then like literally like moments later, they were like, oh, never mind, he's signed. He's good.
Yeah.
Back to your regular scheduled programming.
Let's see.
So we got Cooper Kupp, Egbuka, Pittman, Kyler Murray, Bo Nix, Patrick Mahomes, and B-Rob.
Is Mason still there, or did he get taken? Oh, he got taken. Never mind.
We have
Let's
Jalen Warren and your boy Cam.
let's say Cam Scaboo. I do think we need a third running back.
I cannot believe that we are taking him.
But also like we need a different bye week and
do.
also starting potential. Like, Jalen Warren, not exactly been a spike week guy, not exactly been a big fantasy producer. So even if
Yep.
like he'll get points every week, but if he gets 8 points week 8, when our top two guys are out.
FFK coaches, do you think any wide receivers beyond Metcalf are worth taking? Wild says he likes Calvin Austin. It's really pick your fighter of Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson at this point, but don't forget about Pat Freiermuth as your tight end as well. Rodgers has been known to use some tight ends. So PSA there, but to me, it's choose your fighter. I have Calvin Austin might have more spike weeks. Roman Wilson might become more consistent of a play. That's the way I look at it. I'm just taking both.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Pat Freiermuth definitely the number one, or, like option after Metcalf. He's a top 10 tight end last year. No reason he can't do that again. Uh, and then take some Austin, take some Wilson. I will say I think they are live for both like a Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper. So
we are up real quick. Egbuka, Higgins, Coleman, Trey Harris.
Higgins or Coleman.
Let's go Higgins. You don't like Egbuka, huh?
Here, the tough thing for me is what other wide receiver 3 are we drafting this high who doesn't even have like a chance to overtake somebody else? It's not, and no longer is Luther Burden going this high. But Luther Burden could have potentially overtaken like DJ Moore, or something like that.
I don't know. I think for me, what I like about Egbuka is one, he's on an absolutely great offense that is going to pass the ball a ton. Chris Godwin scares me with the optimist for week 1. If Egbuka really gets in there and just shows out while Godwin is maybe missing some time or not 100%, I don't think that they just turn a blind eye to a guy that they drafted in round 1. And Mike Evans is no spring chicken either. Like he could easily get hurt. Godwin can easily get hurt. I think there's an opportunity to draft a potential wide receiver 2 well down the board on a team that's going to pass the ball a boatload. So I like Egbuka a lot actually. I probably like him more than the average bear.
So in a vacuum, I love Emeka Egbuka. I think he was one of the most purest receivers in this draft class. He's can hit the floor running. I think he's a great guy to fill in for Godwin early on, but when Godwin's back healthy, and he might start the year 70% and then work his way up, but when he's back healthy, to me, it's going to be tough for Mbuka to be more than the wide receiver 3 there. And you're being the wide receiver 3. And my point is, it's not like an offense where even like the Chiefs. Sorry, I know we're up.
Yeah, we're up here real quick. So we got Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Drake May, Kyle Williams, Javonte Williams, Luther Burden, Tootin.
Kyle Williams.
Come on down, Kyle Williams. You are the next contestant on our team. All right. So far right now, just to update, we are 1360, by the way.
Yeah, and I like this. There's some quarterbacks that we can get.
It'd be really nice if this young man fell to us right here.
Very nice. But there's also some backup options like Love. Obviously way down guys like Rodgers and Ward, but Love or Stroud, would be fine. Quarterback 2s.
So Jake wanted some coach speak on Jalen Lane.
I would be shocked if he's wide receiver 3. I mean, we still haven't gotten a clean report on the Noah Brown thing, but I think he's fine.
We also have Michael Gallup.
They have Michael Gallup. They have KJ Osborne. They have Luke McCaffrey, who they drafted last year.
Yeah, Jalen Lane is probably going to make special teams as like the backup guy to Jacory. So I wouldn't take that shot yet, Jake. Personally, now I like maybe in BBM. You take a shot here and there if you want to pair him with Jaden, but yeah, I'd probably just stay away for now.
Yeah,
it's tough to. Yeah, it's not like they put a ton of draft stock into him, but yeah, I don't know with the way that they've been taking their wide receiver approach, it scares me a little bit. All right, Drake May is here. Do you want to just take that?
Yeah.
All right,
fell right back to us.
So but yeah, Burrow and May. Okay, good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, no, feel really good about the quarterback room, but just if Noah Brown, and maybe you've seen some like full report if he's healthy or not, but if Noah Brown's healthy, I think he is clearly the number 3. He was the number 2 last year, ahead of De'Ami Brown, ahead of all these other guys, and then he got hurt, and then De'Ami Brown took over. Debo's obviously number 2 now, but I think they like Noah Brown. I think Jaden Daniels likes Noah Brown.
I mean, Noah Brown lives in that town as a legend right now for catching the Hail Mary ball. I mean, that man don't pay for food or drinks in DC. All right, that I mean, again, I know I'm only 34, but that was one of the most electric moments as a Washington fan in my just entire existence. I can't remember ever just getting so excited about something like a single moment in time. That was absolutely incredible. So Noah Brown, you will live in my heart forever.
Yeah, and no, I think he is, assuming that he gets the clean bill of health. Yeah, I think he's going to be a number 3. And actually, I was taking him a little bit in the 18th round.
Mr. Jalen Lane, welcome to the practice squad.
I mean,
that's a potential as well.
That's potential as well. Like if he doesn't show his return ability, that could happen.
Yeah, I don't think he makes it as a wide receiver. I think if he makes a team, it's on special teams. So we'll see what happens there for him. But that's why I like Jacory as well. Is that I think he's going to be the punt returner. Mm-hmm. And you make a team that way, you're automatically the 3rd RB on the team.
Yeah.
So, all right, Steve, we are up here. We got CJ Stroud. That would pair for us if we want to just triple up on that. Jaden Blue.
Let's go tight end.
We got Likely, Goddard, Kincaid, Ferguson. I like Ferguson and Kincaid.
I like Goddard, but I'm fine with Ferguson also.
All right. I like Ferguson more than any of those guys just because of what I think the Cowboys pass the ball more than the Eagles will.
Yeah, no.
Eagles running back and discrepancy with the Cowboys running back is very, very large.
Yeah.
Damn you, Saquon, for going there.
100%. And also, like, the Cowboys, if they're a good offense this year, they need Dak to do what he did 2 years ago and throw. He led the league in touchdowns that year, and Jake Ferguson was really good that year. Last year, Jake Ferguson had 0 touchdowns. He was also banged up, and Dak got hurt, so there's a lot that went wrong against him. But I'm absolutely betting on a bounce back.
Yeah, I would imagine that they do that with a clean bill of health for Dak Prescott. Also, shout out Dak Prescott. You did cash me my first ever season-long winner of who throws the most interceptions in a year as well. So shout out to you 2 years ago. Thanks for completely sucking and throwing 3 picks against Washington in the final week to cash me that bet. I appreciate you.
Let's see. What are you looking at here?
So we got likely Bigsby, Eckler, I mean, we could pull up Roshan if we want to take a fourth RB right there.
Yeah, let's pull up Roshan.
Oh, music to my ears. You know,
We
I'm a
talked
big
about
Roshan guy.
him.
This is his year, Steve.
Well, no, I mean, I've moved him up a few rounds with that we got the question earlier. I think it makes sense. I mean, I love Eckler in this area as well. But I'm taking both those guys over Tank right now. I think the Jag situation is very murky.
Mr. Wiles with 4 wide receivers right now is an interesting. I can tell he's definitely going different strategy. I don't typically see him with only 4 wide receivers coming into round 13. He did take Xavier Legette and Zach Ertz. Damn you. Damn you, Jake. How am I supposed to keep up 80% Zach Ertz exposure if you take him?
The gauntlet was thrown.
Jeez. That's okay. I forgive him. I know he has Daniel, so that's okay. I understand. Just trying to keep up the exposure. I want to be the Zach Ertz guy. All right. So Steve coming up here. I like Brenton Strange and Pat Freiermuth. Likely is a wild card though. Never mind what likely goes. So Strange or Freiermuth. Yeah. I am in here with you. That feels good. And I don't want to say it, FK Coolers just threw this out earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I had thought about that when we were lacking behind at tight end. I'm like, we want like a third guy at quarterback, Aaron at the end with an old Pat Freiermuth stack. Doesn't suck in my eyes.
Yeah.
Everyone hating. I know Meg's out there preaching the good word to everybody about Aaron Rodgers as a good late guy. I'm also on board. I'm on the Aaron train. I mean, I don't know. It's just if he's even a sliver good, Aaron. It's a very nice value down there. I mean, you want Russell Wilson over Aaron? I don't think so. Not in my book.
Well, and just so many of the guys at the bottom, look at whether it's Geno, whether it's Darnold, whether it's Cam Ward, even some of these guys even higher, whether it's Penix, Stafford, whatever. I bet Rodgers is going to outproduce a number of them. Like not whether it's 10 of them, whether it's 5 of them. The chance that he's quarterback 28 at the end of the year to me is minuscule.
I agree. All right, so we got 4 running backs. We got Jalen Wright, Rico Dowdle. We do have Shipley's down there. Michael Wilson.
Let's go Shipley.
Just in case Saquon can't repeat, we will take his replacement. I also like Jalen Wright. I know you like Rico Dowdle. So those guys were definitely
I would have been fine with any of them, but I just think Shipley is undervalued right now, and
people hating on him. He comes out with the ayahuasca documentary, and people are like, "I'm out on him. Dude's weird. He spends time in a hut with other dudes. It's not for me." But guess what, Aaron, his spiritual mind has been opened. He understands. He reads the field.
So I do think we're going to have to take him with the next pick, because he is, his ADP is still kind of depressed from all those drafts when he was, undrafted.
Yep. And then so far right now, Steve, we are 2-5-6-2. Taking Aaron Rodgers will take us to 3-5-6-2. I think we need to address the wide receiver position probably next, and then open to taking a third tight end if we want to. If not, are we satisfied with our 5 RBs of Gibbs, Kyron Williams, Scatterboo, Roshan, and Shipley?
Yeah, I mean, I could see tagging on a 6 just because, particularly when your top 2 guys and only clear starters have the same bye. You just don't want to take like a really terrible running back score that week. And so having some depth can help, of course, but I think it's fine. It's just not elite. That could happen as well.
So we taking Aaron here?
Yeah, I think it just makes sense for this team, this build. And we kind of got Burrow as his own level of spike weeks, May having the rushing upside. And then Aaron Rodgers can just be the floor play, fill in for the buys, get a couple other good weeks in there. We have them double stacked. Like, yeah, it feels really good.
All right. So we are 8 picks away. I do want to ask you, Steve, a man that has been getting good camp reports, wasn't drafted, but is with his college teammate, rookie quarterback in Xavier Restrepo. Are you warming up to Restrepo being an option for you at round 18?
I've already taken him a couple times. In fact, I was down on Io Manor pre-draft, even when he got this role for the Titans. I'm still down on him. And DK, kind of the same thing. I think DK is a little bit more upside and potential. But yeah, I mean, their vets are Tyler Lockett, who I think is fine as his own 18th, 17th, 18th round click. But no, Restrepo, he and Ward, it was only 1 year together, but they're really connected. Apparently, Ward was going to bat for him in every meeting that he took in the pre-draft process. So, yeah.
Yep. I'm in on him too now. I mean, I drafted a ton of them in big board, so I was like, fuck, that's not good. But camp reports are good, so we are up here. Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, I think, is the pick.
It's so funny. I have taken him so many times now because it's just like you're never gonna get him down here once he actually signs somewhere.
Exactly.
You're just really you're rolling the dice on that he actually goes to a team that he'll get targets on. I fear he's at his point in his career where he's like, I want to go win a Super Bowl. I'm going to just take any contender that's willing to give me a nice contract, even if he doesn't fully get the opportunity to get on the field a ton. That is my fear. But again, as a round 17 pick, you're not really killing yourself. But yeah, I don't know. It's
yeah, I mean, there's a couple of picks. There's a couple of picks down here, guys that we like Tutu or Slayton, De'Ami Brown, whatever, who have a little bit more of a clear role. But look, I mean, Adonai Mitchell, I know former second round pick, but I mean, he could be the wide receiver 4. He might not get on the field this year. A bunch of these other guys who are taken in this range, either running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, absolutely might not get on the field. So I'm fine making the bet on Keenan Allen. If he goes to even a moderate landing spot, he's going to go in the 13th round,
Yeah. Yep. So we are 3-5-7-2. What do you want to do? You want to address the last running back position? You want to take another tight end, or are we going wide receiver? 3-5-7-2.
I think this is tough. Could you highlight tight end real quick?
Terrence Ferguson, Theo Johnson, Noah Gray, Arroyo.
I don't mind. I don't mind a couple of those guys like Theo and Arroyo, especially in Ferg. I feel good about our receivers. So to me, it's either running back or tight end.
Okay, running back, Marshawn Lloyd, Brashard Smith, Jerome Ford, Taj Brooks. Taj Brooks is a bring back again.
Let's do Brooks again, honestly. I think it makes sense. It correlates.
Oh, shoot, Steve, we always take it down the last second. You make me sweat. I'm like, oh, God, I'm spinning too fast. Everything's happening. Oh, my God. Sheesh.
Oh, but I like having a little bit more depth there. And I think we're totally fine with Ferg and Freiermuth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with those guys. Both touchdown upside guys, which is really all you're looking for here on Underdog. So, we as the draft completes here, we went 3-6-7-2. Joe Burrow, so Joey Burr, Drake May, the up and comer, and you got the old MVP Aaron Rodgers. All different bye weeks. It feels nice. We got a guy in his prime, we got an up and comer, and we got a guy past his prime. Feels good, Steve. Feels good.
But I do think they balance each other really well. Like Aaron Rodgers had 11 games of 15 or more fantasy points last year. I think 10 of those games he finished as quarterback 1. So there's just a very strong floor play. Burrow, we know his upside and elite ability. And May, I agree that rushing ability is massive. So really excited about that quarterback room and the team overall in general.
Yes, I do. Oh, hold on. I got to freaking do this stupid shit. God, Underdog, you're killing me. All right, Schnauzer 2. Here we go. Full draft. All right. So then we went Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyron Williams, Cam Scatteraboo, Roshan Johnson, Will Shipley, and Taj Brooks. Wide receivers, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, Matt Golden, Jaden Higgins, Kyle Williams, and Keenan Allen. got the nice little triple rookie stack right in the middle there. And then Jake Ferguson, Pat Fryermuth, touchdowns or bust.
Mm-hmm. No, I like it. I mean, like I said, Fryermuth was top 10 tight end last year, Ferg the year before, and I think Fryermuth the year before that. So it's just, we know the upside's there. If they get touchdowns, they're going to be a top 10 tight end.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, we got a very nice running back group up top. Got some shots down here, some potential guys. Wide receivers, we kind of did the same thing. Took some really nice guys up here, took a few shots down here, and then we just really take the shot on this dude that plays football and on a good team, hopefully. But yeah, a very interesting team for us. I like it. Got a lot of bye weeks 5 and 10. Not terrible, but of note.
I think overall it's fine. Not a big concern.
Yep. Weil started out 2-2-2, and then he messed it up by not taking 2 tight ends. That would be just glorious. The 2-2-2 strategy, or 2-2-2-2 strategy. All right, let's see if he landed the plane. He did get 2-6-8-2. Lamar and Jaden back to back. Those dogs. The 2 quarterbacks that will be meeting in the Super Bowl this year. We have James Conner, Caleb Johnson, Aaron Jones, Ray Davis, Rashad White, and Justice Hill. I liked what he did here with the James Conner and Caleb. Very nice. It seems like it's pretty safe floor, especially because I'm high on Caleb, and I know you like him too. With Aaron Jones, that probably pretty decent floor. Limited upside, I think, for Aaron Jones, but high upside for these 2 guys. And then he brought it back with Ray Davis, who could have a much bigger role this year, especially with the James Cook issues happening. Rashad White, we already talked about in depth how much we love him. And then Justice Hill. I know you guys like Justice Hill a little bit more than I do. I just think if Henry ever goes down, Justice Hill just isn't the guy. But he does have standalone value, which obviously helps in his scenario here. Then he went Amon-Ra St. Brown, Nico back-to-back. Bringing in Josh Downs, which we talked about being an underrated guy, a lot of first reads for the Colts. I think where he's going, I think Josh Downs is the value, even on a team that isn't going to pass the ball an absolute ton, with a team that who knows what they're really going to do with the quarterback position. Didn't even matter last year. They still went to him on like over 30% of the first read targets for a player that isn't even the number 1 on this team. Michael Pittman is like Josh Downs, underrated. That's my rant. Go get some Josh Downs in your life. Trey Harris, Xavier Legette, Pat Bryant, Ray McLeod, and Jalen Tolbert filled it out with some dogs here. Like a little, I love Xavier Legette. Not only is he funny as shit the way he talks, but he's good on the field and he's been impressing in camp as well. Talk about Pat Bryant. I know you like Pat Bryant. What's the bold case for Pat Bryant?
I mean, the bold case, Sean Payton called him Michael Thomas, but the bold case is he becomes Denver's number 2 receiver. I mean, Marvin Mims wasn't getting on the field more than 40% of the time, even late last year during his spike weeks. And Pat Bryant has a lot more draft capital than Franklin or Vele. So I think he could be the wide receiver 2 on this team.
You heard it from Steve's mouth. It's happening. It's true. And then he went tight ends, Mark Andrews, Zach Ertz. That's music to my heart right there. I love Mark Andrews. Forget about what happened at the very end of last year. Just go look at what he did in the beginning of the year, and you're like, oh God, he sucked. And then what he did once he turned it on, and he finished as tight end 5, like absolutely crazy. He did that in like I don't know 12 weeks of the year. I think the first 5 weeks he was absolute dog shit, and people were like, "Oh God, Mark Andrews sucks. He's awful." Then all of a sudden he turned it back on, and then he was a dog. And Zach Ertz, top 10 tight end last year, still being just absolutely disrespected. Jake knows what's up. Took him at 157, ADP of 174. He took him ahead of. He knows Zach Ertz shouldn't be going that low. Absolute disrespect for Zach Ertz. Disgusting.
Yeah, he stacked both his quarterbacks with their tight ends, and they're both their touchdown guys. I mean, Ertz. Terry is quite the touchdown guy himself, but Ertz had 7 touchdowns. Like, big. Really like what Jake did. I also like just highlight his running backs for a second. People talk about like 0 RB, and my problem with 0 RB is, and not everyone defines what Jake did as a 0 RB team because Connor and Caleb were taken fairly early. But he went after his guys, which I do like. But this is how you do it. You get 3 guys who are starters in Connor, Johnson, and Jones. And Johnson is, I think, big upside. Jones, like you said, might not have the every week upside because the touchdowns might not be there, but he's still a spike week guy. Even in Green Bay, he was always known as a spike week guy. And then you get 3 contingent backs with usable, their own usable roles in Davis, White, and Hill. I just, that's how you build a 0 RB team. Guys that who are going to be on the field, guys who who are get fantasy points, whether it's a situation that Davis spikes more because Cook goes down, or White because Irving goes down, or Hill just Ravens are in negative game script. He had some of his best games when the Ravens were in negative game scripts last year, and he had like a 17 and 18-point game. So, though that I like, if you wait on running back, whether you call it 0 RB or not, this is the way you do it. And Jake is totally fine still the running back position, despite the double elite quarterbacks, despite some, the double elite receivers to start his draft. So yeah, I just I appreciate that because we see these 0 RB teams that are maybe they would have taken Caleb Johnson and then maybe Ray Davis, but the other running backs they're taking are like total contingent guys or guys who just don't have ceilings and stuff like that. So big fan of that approach. I don't wait on running back much, but when I do, it's built like this.
Yeah. Hey, Jake, gold star from Steve. That's a good guy to get a gold star from. And again, you said that this is, you don't do this often. And that's why we almost send that PSA out the other night when you were just drafting. I'm like, Steve is just ignoring running backs. Dude hates them now. Absolutely wild. If you haven't seen that episode, go back if you want to see Steve out of his element drafting all but no running backs for quite some time. I was on high alert to make sure he didn't get kidnapped and someone was drafting his team for him. But yeah, no, Jake's team's good overall. I like it. I'm giving it an 8.2. I like the way he built it. Definitely I think it needs a little help on the wide receiver side here, but obviously I'm big on Josh Downs. So overall, very nice, solid team for the way he started out. Okay, cool. I don't think there was anybody else in the draft with us. So that will do it for tonight for us. Appreciate everyone stopping by, hanging out with us. If you haven't done so already, like the stream, subscribe, share it with your friends, family, coworkers, dentist, whoever you're talking to in the wild. Talk to people about the Fanspeak Network. Let them know that we will help them win money, not financial advice, but we will try to help them win money on the Best Ball subscription, $34.99 right now. Link in the show description below. Steve, anything else for the good people? We got Sibling Showdown tomorrow, Friends of Best Ball Friday, correct?
Yep, yes? Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. I know there's a little bit of a holiday tomorrow for everybody. If you're off, enjoy. Come back tomorrow night. Watch Steve and Meg draft once again together on the Sibling Showdown. Stop back Friday with Meg on the Friends of Best Ball. We appreciate every single one of you guys joining us once again. For Steve, for myself, we will see you all next time. The stream won't end. It won't let me click it, Steve. It won't let me click it.
Oh, no.
Oh, now we're clicking it.